It's time for a react session. We're going to be reacting to the things that Joe Rogan said about video games. It's been hammered to death, but I want to give my take. So, enhance. Joe Rogan's full comments on kids playing video games. Oh, those kids playing those goddamn video games.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
I found, I don't know if you agree with this, there were a ton of kids along the way growing up as I was building my business that would say, oh, I'm not into this, I'm not into that, kind of like you described yourself.
Yeah.
And they don't do anything because they're
Right.
looking for that thing. And I would argue, do something. Do fucking something until you find that thing.
Yeah, I've never been that kid though.
Right.
I've always been into things. I always was into art, or I was into something. I always found things that I was interested in. Just none of them seemed like they were normal things that other people wanted to do for a living, like the path, like a career path. But I think that there's a lot of people that don't have any. There's no one. They're not modeling their life after someone that they see that they admire. Someone that's successful, someone that is doing something that they enjoy and love. Sometimes kids have to see that.
Right.
And if their parents are living a bullshit life and their neighbors are living a bullshit life and most of their family lives a bullshit life, they just fucking lay around, you know?
Yeah.
And then they seek refuge in drugs or video games or something that stimulates them. And video games are a real problem. They're a real problem. You know why? Because they're fucking fun.
Addictive.
And you don't, yeah, well, I have a real problem with them. And you do them, and they're real exciting, but you don't get anywhere.
Right.
It's like you could do like martial arts, right? You could learn jujitsu. You get obsessed by jujitsu, and then 3 years later, you're like an elite jujitsu athlete. You're entering in competitions. You're a purple belt.
You're moving up.
Yeah, you're doing well.
Right.
You're thinking like, I might be able to open my own school one
You
day.
got confidence.
Yeah, if I have 100 students and those 100 students are paying me X amount of dollars per month, I can make a living. Holy shit, I can have this would be amazing. And then you see your jiu-jitsu school and your jiu-jitsu instructor has all these students and drives a Mercedes and he's got a nice family and like, that's the future. This way you're doing something exciting and fun and you don't. Or you could just be playing fucking video games. 3 years later, you could be that same kid just playing video games, waiting for the next whatever the fuck game is, you know, next Xbox game to come out, and you're gonna waste your time.
You have children. I have children, and it's a big battle in the house.
Yes.
And my kids, I don't know if you're going through this, but my kids are now saying, "Well, Dad, this guy made all this money with this video game. That he's
That's
a man."
real too. That's
right?
real too now.
So like that's 1 in a billion, kid. Like,
I don't know if it's 1 in a billion, but you know, look, I heard the same argument about comedy. My own parents. were like, do you know how few people make it as a comedian? I was like, okay, does anybody make it? Somebody makes it, right? They figure out how to do it. They make a living. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Just stop. Look,
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. I was real lucky that my parents were not around very much, so I didn't get much advice. So I figured it out myself. So there was no one telling me I couldn't do it.
Got it.
So
green fields.
I was like, I'm gonna find my way through this. And since no one's telling me it's impossible, no one's telling me I can't. Occasionally, I would hear someone say, "What are the odds?" I'm like, listen to this fucking loser. That's my thought was always like, that guy's a loser. Like if you think like that, you're a loser. But there are kids that make a lot of fucking money playing video games. But the thing is, like, you have to be adaptable. You have to be able to play multiple video games because the one video game that you get really good at, what are the odds that's going to be around 5 years from now?
Right.
You know, like what's the big one now? Like Fortnite? Is that? Do they make
Fortnite.
money off of
PUBG.
that? Yeah. And then there's Call of Duty. They make money off that. What's the big money? StarCraft used to be the big one, right?
StarCraft boomer.
Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike is it's still the Half-Life mod.
Yeah.
Damn.
Come out, but it's still basically the same exact game.
They don't make money off Quake though, right? Not
Oh
really.
god.
Nah, really.
No.
A couple, one or two guys do.
Yeah. See,
Shit.
you got to pick the right game. You know, you could be
And what are you
obsessed
gonna
with
do?
the
What are
wrong
you gonna do? You're
game.
gonna spend 5, 10.
Who's heard of Quake, yo?
You would have to.
Damn, bro. Who's heard of Quake? What is this? I haven't heard of Quake in like 10 years, dude. Quake was the jam. Quake was the jam, though. It was it was fun. See, the thing is, people take, like, when this whole thing went down on, when was it, like 2-3 days ago? 3 days, yeah, about 4 days ago. That's right, 27th of July. 28th of July is when it all kicked off, I think. So many people took to Twitter and they're like, oh, Joe Rogan, you know nothing about video games. All it is people playing video games and it's a waste of time, right? I don't agree with it. And yeah, in all honesty, the fact, dude, the guy knows. He knows his stuff. Like, the whole, yeah, the fact he knows CS was a Half-Life mod. Come on, dude, Jesus, not many people know that. Especially, you know, I'm specifically talking about people of his age. And the fact that he was like a big Quake player, had gaming addiction and all that stuff. Well, I mean, gaming addiction. Yo, why do we think we're all here, yo? But the points he makes in like, the other guy, his guest, I don't know who that is. Clearly knows very little about the whole space of streaming, gaming, whatever. But I agree with most of the things that Joe Rogan says, dude. Yes, you can. The people who took to Twitter and they're like, "Oh God, I made money off video games." Dude, do you realize how privileged you are to be in that like minuscule percentile of people who can call video games their full-time job? Because the stories of those people always get heard, but the stories of people who never make it in video games never get heard because they drift out, right? They're like, oh, well, shit, I can't do it, so I'm going to get a wife and a kid, or like a husband and a kid and start a family, and that's it, you know? And then they drift out, so you never get to hear those stories of people who were like, dude, I was grinding on like Mixer, Kappa. I was grinding on YouTube. I was uploading videos. Like, dude, where's all the big YouTubers from the days of past? Where's Ray William Johnson, dude? You ain't heard of Ray William Johnson 15 years, dude. His stuff back then was actually great, right? I'm not actually saying 15 years. It's about 10 years. But still. Yeah, where they at now? No one knows. But even just going back to the original point of like, I mean, are they a waste of time? No, because at the end of the day, if you want to come, there's nothing wrong, right, with coming back from work, turning on the video game and just chilling out. No. Could you be more productive? Yes, sometimes, but sometimes life is so stressful that you don't want that. You just want to go home and chill, you know? And yeah, I mean, in all honesty, I don't. It's a harsh reality, but it's a fact. I don't know what else to say really about this one. Those people that took to Twitter and those are like the tweets that got biggest traction were the people who were like, oh well, games got me my job and blah blah blah, and it's like, yeah, okay. What about all the people that didn't get the job in the video game industry? What about those? So it's this weird, it's this weird whatever. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the Joe Rogan thing, because it was a big thing on Twitter, dude. I woke up in the morning, I was like, what the? And then yeah, but a lot of people literally just seen it. Didn't realize the context and were like, oh, what is he talking about? He knows nothing about video games. Yeah. That's my thought on the Joe Rogan thing. There we go.